What do you get when you cross Smoking Aces and Groundhog Day? You get boss level. That's what you get. And no surprising, because the same director from Smoking Aces, writer and director, also was writer and director on boss level. Premise of the story is really, really simple. Just like a video game where you keep dying over and over until you figure out how to defeat the boss level. That's what's happening to our main character in this film. He wakes up, people are trying to kill him from the very moment he wakes up. In fact, that's what wakes him up, them trying to kill him. And he has no idea why, except that they are. And so through the course of his many escapes and deaths and so on and so forth, he has to try and figure out why they're trying to kill him. And of course, you can't do that. You need to survive long enough to get little bits of information, and he can carry those little bits of information forward with him the next time he wakes up, so he's not starting afresh. Just like Groundhog Day. Keep living over and over, gather a little bit of info, a little bit of info, a little bit of info. And it's got a comical element to it. Now, a couple of little trivia pieces about the movie. There are a couple of assassin twins. I think they're called twins in the movie. Rampage Jackson and Rashard Evans from UFC. They play those two particular characters. Of course, you wouldn't notice it really because they've got sunglasses on and so on, but they are the two characters that they play. Also, the film took a long time to come to fruition. Cost $45 million to make. It made bugger all at the box office, but it was mainly going to be a Hulu distribution. Now, the thing was that it was sold, and Hulu ended up picking up the distribution rights for $11.5 million. And apparently, they hired Blumhouse to re-edit it so that it would be fit for distribution. And the fee for re-editing was 5% of the acquisition, which was $11.5 million acquisition. So their editing fee was going to be 5%. But then they sued Hulu because apparently Hulu's not paying them or had not paid them. That's just a little bit of trivia, a little bit of hearsay sort of trivia. Now, of course, also one of the other producers is the main star of the show. So if you want to get into movies, write, direct and produce your own movie. It works for a few others. Steven Seagal is one of them, obviously. It works for Vin Diesel as well. Now, as to the movie itself, look, obviously from the get-go, waking up every morning to dodge bullets from a machine gun on a helicopter. Think of The Matrix with Neo shooting into the building, dodging those sorts of bullets, dodging killers that try to kill you from the moment you get up, jumping out of a building, explosions, all sorts of things like that, and doing it over and over and over so that you learn the pathway to get through, just like a video game boss level. Yeah, look, you certainly have to suspend your belief in reality to make that all happen. And he's pretty tongue-in-cheek. Look, there's some funny moments in it. I had a chuckle when he just gave up at one point. I don't know, he'd been killed 200 times or something at this stage, and he just gave up, and he's like, what's the point? And so when the first one would arrive in his apartment to kill him, he just turned over and put the blankets over himself and just let himself get killed. He didn't even try. He did that a few times before I guess he had a revelation that said, nah, look, let's do something different. Let's try and figure this out. And, you know, he just progressed from there. So there are a few little interesting moments in the film. And there's kind of like a little twist at the end. And I'm not going to really say too much. I don't want to give too many spoilers away. It's wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Bit of mindless violence sort of action. Bit of slapstick within the movie. I'm just reliving some of the scenes. So I'm just having a little bit of a chuckle as I think back through some of the scenes. Totally unrealistic. Everything's unrealistic. But hey, look, you know, if you've got an hour and a half, hour 40, whatever, however long the movie is, I say, give it a watch. It's probably never made its money back, but for sheer entertainment value, that's what I'm looking at. Is it entertaining? Yeah, it's an entertaining movie. So I say, if you got that hour, 40 minutes or so spare, grab some popcorn or whatever your favourite little snack is, sit down and give it a watch.